This is a really special conversation I'm about to have with a very rare talent. Someone I have admired for a very long time, and I'm pleased to say is now joining the OkayAfrica fold as the host of one of our very special podcasts that will be coming out in a few days from now. The one and only Joey Akan joins me from Lagos, host of Afrobeats Intelligence. Joey, welcome.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It's fun. I'm happy to be a part of this push, and yeah, I'm just happy.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Um, you know, I am a huge fan of you, of the work you have done over many, many years. And whenever I think about you and I think about your journalism, one word keeps coming to mind repeatedly, and it's singular. I think you're a singular talent, and you have made one of a kind moves. It's true, you've made one of a kind moves, and I never fail to watch an interview that you've done and not have a moment where I'm speechless, and it's such a joy to watch you work. The decisions you have
Thank you.
made, the decisions you have made in your career, and the moves you've made, have those been by chance, or have they been, deliberate on your part, taking such a singular path?
Well, for a long time, I've asked myself this question for a long time about whether I have chosen to be who I am today because of stumbling through life or just getting through. I think it's a bit of both. A lot of it is just passion. At the root of everything is just passion. I like the space. I like the music. I like the people. I like the ecosystem that supports it. Even though I have a lot of problems with it, but I still like the fact that it exists, and it's a path forward for a lot of creatives. Yeah, there's some things that are by chance, like my friend calling me at the middle of the night to say, "Hey, stop writing for everybody. Create Afrobeats Intelligence. Create your own platform." Or first naming this platform something like rotten kidneys or something. That's what I named Afrobeats Intelligence. And I'm like, I don't like it.
So grateful you changed.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, like I'm happy, and then switched it over. But yeah, I've just loved music so much from childhood, and I'm glad that even within adulthood I can find new ways to still contribute to it.
It's interesting that you made the point that even you love the ecosystem, even though there are things that you take issue with. And I think one of the things you're known for is your integrity and also your bluntness, right? In how you move through this space, which, is noted and not appreciated by everyone. Has that been difficult for you, maintaining integrity and not dialing back?
Well, you'd have to think about the industry like a patient you're nursing. They would not like a lot of things. They might not like the spoonfuls of drugs you chuck at them, or the injections you give them, or just medicine generally. But that doesn't mean you stop, because your work is a labor of love, and it's keen. It's tied to the survival of the space. And so integrity is just having that singular vision that this is what it is, this is how you're going to operate, and these are the things you want to see within the system, and having like a noble perspective to everything. So it's not been hard holding on to that. Of course, it's always tested every day, but it's not been hard holding on to that. It's the cardinal point of everything I do. Why am I a journalist if I cannot stand by my word, or my word does not count on a personal level? And so yeah, it gets tested every day, but it's it's the best ingredient in everything I do. So there's no way it changes.
I love your turn of phrases. You said it's the cardinal point in what you do. And I think that is something that here at OK Africa, which of course is part of our brand, Array Media, that we hold on to in the same way, that integrity, that desire to not just celebrate, the continent, but also to be forthright and to maintain our integrity, to hold a mirror up to what isn't working on the continent. And I think that that's one of the reasons why bringing you or wooing you, because I felt like I was courting you, courting you to come and join us. Why, to me, it felt like a no-brainer to pursue you in the way that I did. But it's always interesting, you see this a lot in like, these meet cutes where people like, I wanted him from like day one, but did he want her from day one? I guess I should ask you, like, we wanted you, but for you, what made you want to, again, because you have stood apart with Afrobeats Intelligence as your own entity for such a long time, why join OkayAfrica?
Well, to be honest, OkayAfrica was the third deal I got within the space of 3 months. It was raining deals on me. Yeah. It was the third deal. What the clincher for me was simply the direction you guys wanted to go with this, the fact that I get to retain a high level of creative control, and it just makes sense for what I'm building. So I've been trying to build a platform that celebrates African music, to be honest, African music in the way that it should, while still holding up a mirror, being a place for truth and being a place for unfiltered conversations that drives the ecosystem forward. Not a lot of people can understand that. Not a lot of people can understand the sanctity of that mission. I think OkayAfrica understood that. I remember you asking me when we're done having the conversation and we have a gentleman agreement, and then you asked me, does this feel right? And in that moment, I searched myself and I'm like, yeah, I feel great. Let's go. Yeah, because it just felt right more than anything. I'm just happy that so far we've been able to work together. I've been able to have, me and my team, we've been able to have the right support. And I'm just grateful that we have that. And I'm just looking forward to all the beauty that we can do together.
Yeah, me too. The show is so much more than just a diversion or an entertainment or source of entertainment. At least it is to me. I think it's also a matter of historical record, what you're doing here in these conversations that you're having with the greatest, the brightest, the leading lights in the ecosystem. Do you approach the conversations with your guests with that level of import, that sense that this has a historic or historical value?
Yeah, I do, because it's a lot of the time I've been here for a while, so a lot of the time I can see. I've been privileged to see my earlier work being referenced as what guides the cultural conversation, what informs it, or rather, what just retroactively serves as a store of truth for the community. And so the music industry in Nigeria understands that I'm accorded that level of respect and access. And so when my guests come in, they know two things. One, they know they're coming to have a conversation that's crucial for their career, but they also know that beyond the moment, this is what serves them 20 years, 50 years from now, where they can point back at one conversation in their lives and say, yes, this conversation has my essence, and it also does contain my truth as it pertains my career and navigating this space, or rather, even just chasing their personal legends. So yeah, there's always a sense of occasion with them. Bella Shmurda, I remember while trying to record Bella Shmurda, we had a little production hiccup. And at the end of the interview, I asked him, and he was around for like an hour. He just stayed downstairs, entertaining himself until we were ready. He just said, no, I'll just be ready. Stayed for an hour before we started filming. And when I told him, thank you for, staying with us, even while we were trying to fix things. And he's like, you are valuable. I'm valuable. This conversation is valuable. And I melted inside, even though I didn't show it. But I did melt inside.
So, and you should melt inside, because what he was doing was speaking his truth, and a moment of truth there, saying to you, you are valuable. Are there any other moments from this season that will soon be out there in the world that also mean a lot to you? Yeah,
it was nice to see Timaya again. Timaya's been a he's been someone I've always admired as a kid. I was a child when I watched him become popular, achieved success. And so it was, and now in my adulthood, we've become friends. We hang out a lot. I even went to Bielsa with him earlier this year just to go witness his greatness. He just wanted me beside him to watch him perform to his home in his hometown. And so it's beautiful to have had him here because even after the interview, he wanted to sit and drink and have conversations. Yeah, like, how's life now? I'm happy to be in your space. And so that was beautiful to see him. And the other moment I loved the most was with Peruzzi, because it was such an honest moment. This is someone who has shared his gifts. He's been very generous with his gifts around the industry, worked with Davido, worked with everyone, created a huge slice of our pop cultural, created a huge slice of our pop cultural moment. And so asking him, if you had the chance to do it any other way, would you still or would you advise anybody to be as generous as you've been to the industry? And it's like, no, I can't say it on camera, but no. When you call me, I'll tell you, but don't do what I did. So it was a moment of truth and candor that I rarely see in wider industry spaces, except on Afrobeats Intelligence, where everyone tries to take their head off just being angry at the industry.
And you know this as a fellow journalist, the obvious next question is the why. Why do people open up to you in the way that they do? How do you explain it?
People, I think it's a lot of it is the reputation they have, the reputation I have within the industry. I have a no nonsense reputation. I have a reputation for being the bastion of truth and just truth and seeing things as they are. So for a lot of people, when they come here, it's a bit of a confessional because they understand that this is a platform for truth. And even the way I approach the conversations, these are human beings. Of course, I'll do all my research, but I don't have questions in front of me because that tends to create like a shadow barrier to connectivity in these interviews. So everybody who comes here knows they have to talk and they have to speak plenty English, like they all say. I've had people who have said, I want to do your interview, but I don't think I'm at a stage in my career where I'm vulnerable enough to really share my truth. And so it's that sense of coming to a truth center. That's why some of the conversations would come out as confessionals. Some of them will come out as intelligent banter between friends, because a number of these people are my friends, and some of it would just be straight up, yeah, just straight up confessional. So these people, that's why they talk to me. They talk to me because they know I can handle their story, I can platform them properly, and more than ever, they know they're not coming. They're not coming to bullshit. And so even the people who do not do interviews, like Young John almost never does interviews. We had to find, on one hand, to count how many interviews Young John has done. But when I pulled the levers for him, he was like, yeah, I've always watched you and I've always wanted a conversation with you because I know it'll be a good use of my time. So yeah.
I know what the show means to you and the level of weight that you attach to it, the historical record element. I know now what it means for your guests in the sense of it is a confessional, it is an opportunity to be platformed in a very unique and high level way. But what is it you want your audience to take away from the shows?
More than ever, it's even beyond the stories, the stories or the oh wow moments that people get from having this conversation and learning a lot more from this. I like to think of every interview as a bit of a masterclass where people who have achieved or people who are achieving or breaking down barriers or trying to ascend past ceilings, they come together and just teach. So a lot of people beyond the entertainment part, I've had music execs who have come up to me, a new generation of music execs who come up to me all the time in public, and and fans, and and all they say is, you know, I got my job because of you. I learned a lot because of your interviews. I've had a lot of a lot of successful musicians call me just to have a conversation with me off camera, because they're like, I connected so much with this that I want to have my own conversation with you without cameras, because it feels a lot like you get me and you understand me. So for the people, it's about seeing the essence of the person. You get the story, you feel their personality. It does feel like you're part of the conversation and you're in the room. And so that is the quality that everyone, both industry and outside on the civilians, like I call them, they tell me, I watch this conversation and I feel like I'm extremely connected to this person. And I think that in itself is that what I sell, connectivity.
And what do you want to see next in this space? Or a better way of putting it, you know, we're partnered now. OkayAfrica presents Afrobeats Intelligence with Akan. For you, I'm incredibly proud of the season that's about to drop. I have big dreams for where we take this show next. What are some of your dreams for what happens? Because people will be like, okay, you've done this, but what are you guys cooking? I mean, I have no problem with telling people as part of this conversation that I really want to make this, I really want to tour this show. I really want to take it and, you know, make it alive, give it a very robust live element, so people can be in the room. And I wonder your thoughts about what comes next for Afrobeats Intelligence.
Well, so far, prior to you guys coming on, to OkayAfrica coming on, we've bootstrapped a lot because of how much we believe in the show. And so we spent a couple of years just grinding it out, regardless of however it augurs or whatever the tea leaves say. For me, it's about reaching new audiences. It's about giving more people around the world a reason to celebrate the culture, a reason to unite under the banner of African music. And so it was once a newsletter, now it's a podcast. I've introduced live elements to it, but with OkayAfrica now, I'm very keen on going very heavy on the live, bringing people together all around. A bit of a tour, like you said, you know, a bit of a tour, and have people just connect with not the music, but the power of African creativity and what we can do when we, as a people, set our minds to beautifying the world.
So I guess we should say, watch this space, Afrobeats Intelligence, coming to a city, a town, your country very soon.
Yeah, let's take it all around. Let's take it to the end. I want to do it at the North Pole.
Lagos.
You know?
We're taking it all around. Joey, it's such a pleasure and it's such an honor to call you a friend and a colleague and a partner. Congrats on an amazing season, and I can't wait for us to drop this. Thank you so much for the conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys, and I'm happy that we're working together. I'm glad, overjoyed actually, that we're working together. And this season, I think it's going to be a special one. It's going to be a special one.
I think it is. All right, Joey, get back to Lagos. I'll see you soon.
I will. See you in a bit.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.